Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am here today to talk with you about the really wonderfully unique qualities about the Ocean Dance Force annual spring concert. Now, we are just weeks away from the biggest event of the year, and I wanted to kind of share what makes our spring concert so wonderfully unique. I think it's kind of underrated and something that my staff and I don't really talk about because there are some real benefits to the way we run our spring concert. And I wanted to kind of share that with you so that while you're watching the annual spring concert, you can kind of get an understanding for why we do things the way we do. I have two things that are really what I think makes Ocean Dance Force so special and unique and what makes our annual spring concert so fabulous. So the first one is how our spring concert is structured. Now, generally speaking, I obviously don't want to say every studio does this because I'm sure there are other studios that don't. But generally speaking, a dance recital is set up in a way where there's a ballet class that performs, and then maybe a little baby lyrical, and then an advanced tap, and then an intermediate hip hop, and it's all kind of jumbled together where there's no kind of through line within the technique except for maybe the music choice or the costume choices. There's a general overall theme, but not necessarily a through line through each and every dance. The way we run and structure our annual spring concert is each teacher is given the opportunity to create mini productions and take you into a world that supports that technique and also can show the progression of the technique all in one section from the beginners all the way to the advanced. I know I can speak for myself with the ballet production. I generally like to do things inspired by true ballets that have been created for professional dance companies. And I really think that this benefits the dancers in two ways. The first way that it benefits them is that it's true to life. If your dancer were to be hired by a professional company and they were to dance in a concert, it wouldn't be just kind of random dances. There would be, kind of vignettes and, they call them like ballets, right? So even if you go see New York City Ballet and you don't see a full-length 3-act ballet, you're still seeing little short mini ballets from, and the choreographers are all different. So you'll get a Jerome Robbins piece, and then maybe you'll get a classic Balanchine piece, and then you'll get a really funky contemporary Balanchine piece, right? And you'll do those three kind of mini performances to create one large production. And that's how Ocean Dance Force also, we follow right along in those footsteps with the professional dance companies and how they run their shows. So for me this year, I'm doing, it's called Ballets with a Twist. You'll have to come and see what I mean when you come and watch. And I know my tap teacher is doing an overall disco theme, and my hip hop teacher is doing a Drake theme, and all of these things, right? And it makes sense because all of the classes are dancing together. And all of them are working as one. So all of our hip hop dancers are working together for the common good, for the common overall theme of their section, their mini production. So the true to life aspect of what it's like to dance with a true professional dance company is one of the things that really helps the structure of the Ocean Dance Force annual spring concert. The other thing that I think is huge that I really do not speak enough about is the educational aspect. So the dancers at Ocean Dance Force are not just learning choreography. And believe me, there is lots of value in that, and learning choreography and preparing it for the stage and performing it, right? I will never take that away. And it is a great thing for each student to learn. And I encourage, if you go to a dance studio, that you participate in that dance studio's, either if they call it a spring recital or, concert or however they choose to name it. I really think it's important to participate. One of the things that I am most proud of about the Ocean Dance Force annual spring concert is that the education that the kids get within their mini production, I think is just so valuable and so special and unique. So for me, when I do ballets, especially if I'm, like I've said before, I like to do like mini productions. Last year I did Swan Lake, and I did a really short version where we got the base of the plot kind of, hashed out, and you kind of understand the overall story without having to sit through 3 acts of the entire ballet. And I think that's really important because the students are learning the choreography, but they're also learning why they're doing the choreography. They're understanding that in Swan Lake, for example, that there is a love story and there is an evil sorcerer who's trying to take control over his swan princess, and he doesn't want to let her go, but agrees to allow the prince to profess his love to her and then have the spell be broken. But little does the prince know that the evil sorcerer is working behind the scenes to trick the queen and the prince into professing his love to the wrong person, therefore putting the spell, creating that spell in fortress and unpenetrable. And, the ending is, of course, very sad. And the lovers, the swan princess and the prince do not end up together in the end. And it's so sad. But the dancers are learning that, even the little ones, they're understanding that the swan princess is coming and curtsying to them at the castle, or they're understanding that the prince and the princess can't be together in the end. So they're not only learning the choreography, they're learning the why behind the choreography. And I think that gives a holistic approach to performing, understanding the why. This year, I'm doing more of a musical theme. And so the students are learning that classical music can sound different, and it doesn't all sound the same, and it doesn't have to be slow and boring and all of that, but there is some really cool classical music out in the marketplace today, and I think they love that more contemporary approach to dancing ballet, and they are having a blast doing it. And that they'll always ask me, oh, who wrote this song, or who covered this version of the song, and why does it sound so different? And it creates a conversation and allows for the educational process of learning the recital to be bigger and better. So those are the two really big things about how the recital is structured that creates that special uniqueness that I think you really don't find in a lot of dance studios. Something that truly makes Ocean Dance Force as unique as it is. The next thing I wanted to talk about is kind of the run of the show. We do pretty much the same show for 2 nights. And there's a reason for that. People look at me, whether they're coming from another dance studio or if they're a new family, and they say, but what's the difference between the 2 shows? And I really tell them, nothing. You can really pick whichever show you want. Now, there are some differences where one night is more geared towards the seniors and the other night is more geared towards the smaller dancers. But overall, the run of the show is the same. The order of the show is the same. Parents will get the same experience for both nights. And you think that something like that wouldn't work. However, going back to the way we structure and following a true to life dance company and how they run their concerts and their shows, they do the same thing, right? If you go to New York City Ballet or American Ballet Theater in New York, they're doing Sleeping Beauty for, they have an opening night. They run the show for a few weeks, longer than we do, obviously. They'll run the show for a couple weekends and then close the show and move on to the next production, whether it's a concert style or a full-length ballet, etc. So we really try to emulate that as well by creating that kind of opening night and that closing night kind of vibe. It gets the kids all pumped up and it gets them excited, because if maybe they weren't as proud of their performance on the one show, they have the next show to kind of fix any mistakes or really push themselves emotionally to really reach for that best overall performance theme. And again, I think this is another educational process that Ocean Dance Force takes to giving the student a holistic approach to learning choreography and performing it. I think it's so important to give these kids and these beautiful dancers an opportunity to really get a backstage inside scoop sneak peek of what it's like to work for a professional company. I get from my alumni all the time messages of them in college where they're taking an extra dance class either for fun, or maybe they've decided to follow the arts, in their collegiate experience. And I always get like little thank you love notes from them saying like, because of the way you've taught us, we've learned more than just choreography. We've learned more than just technique, but we've learned about the history of dance. We've learned the appreciation of the art, and we've learned what others don't necessarily get. And they always thank me for that. And I really take a lot of pride in that kind of message that I get back, because that means I'm giving them a real life approach to the dance world. And I think that's really what it's all about, especially if you're trying to create a love for the performing arts. I think it's so important to give the kids the real life experience, give them the real deal. They can handle it, right? It's not, obviously it's not overwhelming. The kids can do it, right? So those are the two very special and unique experiences that your children, when dancing at Ocean Dance Force, will get when they do their annual spring concert. Now, our annual spring concert is coming up in just a few weeks. Tickets are on sale now. If you would like, you can email the studio at odfdance@gmail.com to order your tickets. And we would love to have you come and watch our amazing show. I think if you ask any family from Ocean Dance Force, they will say that the annual spring concert is really something that they love to look forward to year after year, because one, they're always so impressed with the talent, but two, they love the whole approach of the show. And they love getting to see, maybe they'll watch just their child one night, but then the next night they'll zoom back and they'll get that whole view of the show, which I just think is so special and unique. So if you would like to come and see our show, if you order in advance, the tickets are cheaper than if they are at the door. So I do really encourage you to email us and ask for tickets. You don't have to be a member of the studio to come and see the show. I welcome everyone. So please go ahead. You can email us odfdance@gmail.com or call the studio 732-223-8444. And we would love to have you come and join our annual spring concert. If you would do me a favor, if you've watched this video, if you could give me a thumbs up that you've watched it, and also please share this video, because I think it's so important to gain that understanding and that knowledge of why Ocean Dance Force chooses to run their annual spring concert in the way that they do. If you have any other questions, you can write them in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much. Bye.